Hi, this is Tara with Index Data, and this is how to create a license in FOLIO. So what is a license? Licenses represent legal contracts entered into by a library and a vendor or service provider. Each license is meant to represent a single contract and all of its amendments. Licenses can be linked to agreements that they govern, and licenses can also be used to store copies of contracts and other documents. So let's make a license. We're going to start by going to the Licenses app. We'll go to the Actions button and click New to create a new license. So first we're going to give this license a name. Next we're going to fill out its type and status. The values for these fields are defined under Settings, so you can change them to fit your organization's needs. For type, we'll select Local, and for status, we'll make this an active license. Next we'll select the start date, and we can either set an end date or make it open-ended. We can add a description if necessary. Next, we'll add an alternative name. This can be useful because any value entered as an alternative name is searchable in the Licenses app. Next, we're going to add an internal contact. This is someone associated with our institution who has something to do with this license. So what we're going to do is we're going to link a user. This will bring up the user selection modal. Here we can search for our user, select the user, and now that user is linked to this license. We can select a role for this user. In this case, we'll select Negotiator. And we can add additional internal contacts by clicking the Add Internal Contact button. Next, we're going to add an organization to our record. So we're going to click Add Organization. And just like with users, we can't create an organization from this screen. We can only link an organization. So we'll click Link Organization. And here we'll search for our organization, then we'll select our organization, and it's linked to the license. Here we can add a note, and we can add a role for the organization. Next, we're going to add a core document to our license. A core document is any central document relevant to the license record, so for example, the license agreement or terms of use. We're going to start by clicking Add Core Document. So first we're going to give our core document a name. And then we need to add either a file or a location, and that can be either a physical location or a URL. You need to have one of these or you won't be able to save. We're going to go ahead and add a physical location. So this is like if there was a drawer somewhere where you keep all of these documents, you could add a note about that here. A URL would be a link to, for example, Google Drive or something like that. And then of course you can upload the file as well. So the next thing we're going to do is fill out all of the license's terms. License terms allow you to highlight terms of use from a contract in a clear, easy to understand way. Examples of license terms include definitions of authorized users, what you're allowed to do with it on interlibrary loan, what you're allowed to do with it to print, things like that. Each term is labeled internal or external. External terms can be displayed in a discovery tool for the resources they control. So we'll start with these primary terms. The primary terms are going to appear on the license whether or not you fill them out. They appear on every license. So we'll start with the definition of an authorized user. So the value is a free text field, so we can just enter what it says on our contract. Then we can add an internal note, and it's up to you, but this is probably going to be something about what specifically an authorized user is. We can also add a public note for our users. And then if we want to switch this from internal to external, we can do that, but internal is okay. Once you've added all the primary terms that you want to add, you can add optional terms. So under name, we'll select the name of the term that we want to add to this license. And then under value, we'll set the value of this term. And you'll notice that this is a drop-down and not a free text field like it was in the previous example. You can add any supplementary documents the same way that you added core documents. And then you can go ahead and save and close this license. And that is how to create a license in FOLIO.